Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. And on this episode, we're going to recap last night's action. And I will also check in on Dr. A's My Guys as I try to remember where I am today. And as well, my Bruski 150 players of the night. Then we're going to hit up top ads. We'll go to the drop zone, and we will also say hello to Doc. Doc, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Should be a fun show based on how pregame went.
Oh, God. If that's any indication, we're all in for a doozy. Hello, new listeners. Before we just send you scrambling for the exits, this is Sports Ethos. Head on over to sportsethos.com. Check out our memberships. The B150 projections that I use in my high stakes leagues will be powering the tools you need. And there are articles that go above and beyond what you'll find on social media. Basically, just a lot of hard work to distill all of the value you need, make your life so much easier and whatnot. Let's get to some quick news, Doc. It's actually pretty big. We got Zach Edey to be reevaluated in 4 weeks with a stress reaction in his left ankle. This is management plan to optimize Zach's long-term health in consultation with the Grizzlies and medical experts. What's up, Doc? What do you think about all this? I know what I think, but what say you?
I just think Ja Morant is a poison pill for that entire franchise.
Wait, how's this Ja Morant's fault?
It just is. Everything is Ja's fault. They have nothing to play for. I think it's
okay. All right.
I think it's a big deal for Jock Landale. Like, he's going to be fun. I'm worried about a Jaren Jackson Jr. shutdown at some point. I'm worried about Ja Morant being shut down at some point. And I feel like this happens every year in Memphis. There's a bunch of injured out guys and a bunch of, Vince Williams Jr.'s and Santi Aldamas and Cam Spencers and Gigi Jacksons all step up and go crazy. I think one of the big winners in this thing is going to be Jock Landale.
Well, I agree with that, and we've been kind of positive about Jock Landale all season, so I think a late round center going forward. But you're connecting the dots on this somehow being Ja Morant's fault. I think that it went from like funny, but then to like, oh yeah, this actually could be a thing. Because if you're in a lost season and you've got a 7-foot whatever center in Zach Edey and he's got a stress reaction, you just get ahead of it. And all of a sudden he's out 4 weeks, and we're sitting here, however many weeks ago saying you got to sell high on Zach Edey because this is just too crazy. He's an early round player with an injury history, and we also don't know if he can keep that pace up. And it's why you kind of got to be on the razor's edge with this stuff. If you think that you see a sell high, you make the move. Now, I guess my next question with this, and we'll get to other stuff here real quick as well, but my next question with this is, does Jaren Jackson have a bounce back in him? And you mentioned the point of, well, they could shut him down, or he could continue to stay disinterested because this season's sort of a lost season. Like, we don't know what's going on with Jaren Jackson. Did he fall off and now he's just a guy, or is it he's hurt or he's pissed?
He has not been the guy that we thought he was going to be 5 years ago. I mean, he just hasn't been. And he started off the season hurt, and he was hurt all summer. And I don't really know. Santi Aldama, in some respects, has been more fun to roster than Jaren Jackson, which is really weird. And Jalen Wells is playing well, and Vince Williams has been good, and Cedric Howard has been okay. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he's just serviceable is all he really is. But you're spending such a valuable draft pick to get him in your fantasy drafts that you want more than serviceable with that pick. And so, I mean, he's just been a huge disappointment. I don't know. I don't see a bounce back coming. I don't know why things would be any better for him playing next to Jock Landale than they are playing next to Zach Edey. So I don't see it.
The other element here is the system for Thomas Asalo is basically like, maybe he's just completely zeroed out by that system. 15 points, 4.4 rebounds, just under 3 assists, 1.6 steals, And here's the number for Jaren Jackson that's just like barf worthy: 0.4 blocks over his last 7 games. That is, and with terrible efficiency to boot. He is just tucked inside the top 150 in 9 cat leagues where his turnover number actually isn't great. Well, it's not. It's whatever. It's the crew though. It's the Santi Aldamas. It's the Cam Spencers. I mean, I'm not a big Vince Williams guy right now because he's performing in one category. Though over the last 8 games, he's had a steal and a block. I'll give him the steal and the block. He's performing in 3 categories, Vince Williams Jr. Sorry, Vince. I didn't mean to knock you there. But no, the Cam Spencers and the Santi Aldamas B150 guy, Santi Aldama, they're going to be given another, extended look here, I think, with Zach Edey out. Though you get John Morant coming back, and he's probable for tonight's game, and that will add another wrinkle to this saga. We will watch it all play out. And we're going to talk about Memphis a few more times here tonight. So let's keep it moving here. Doc, let's get to your guys of the night. Who you got?
Amen Thompson catches a lot of heat for his lack of steals and blocks this season. But, man, he was good last night. A big comeback win for Houston. He had 20 points, 9 boards, 8 assists, and a steal. Some big defensive plays down the stretch, a big bucket down the stretch. That was a fun game. I watched that game. I had the Rockets minus the points, so I did not benefit from this win, but it was a good win nonetheless. I love Houston, man. I love Amen. I love watching Houston play. And then the other guys of the night for me were Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma. You know, I sat here yesterday by myself and I told people, like, tonight, play Bobby Portis, play Kyle Kuzma. They're both kind of due. I mean, Kuzma was more due than Bobby, but Portis went off 27 points, 10 boards, a steal, 5 3-pointers, and he hit 11 of 13 shots. I don't know how he did that. Kuzma hit 13 of 17 shots, had 31 points, 1 3-pointer, 6 rebounds, and 1 block. So if you rolled with Kuzma or Portis last night, you probably did very well. And let's be nice to Amen Thompson. He's trying.
I think that's 2 shots at me about Amen Thompson. With
no, it's not directed at you. It's to everybody, dude. I got text messages.
Okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay.
Where are Amen steals? Where's blocks?
Well, they have picked up, and that's good news. It wasn't likely that he was going to be, kind of trailing behind Reed Shepherd. We'll talk about also later in the show. He'll be fine. It's just the high end price. Will he ever hit that high end price? And we've talked about that a bunch. And Bobby Portis, big night last night. It's all starting to come together for him. He's been inside the top 100 over the last 5 games, low minutes, but still the pop is there. And he had the crazy eyes going in that game last night. And, when the big dog leaves, when Giannis is gone, everybody's like, okay, I could probably make quite a bit of money out of being damn good at basketball right now, because there's just all sorts of opportunity on the floor. And I think Kyle Kuzma might have gotten the picture too.
It took them like 5 or 6 or 7 games to figure that out, right? It's almost like they both snapped out of the days they were in before last night's game. We're like, look, man, you and I, like, let's go do this, because we can ball out. And yeah, our team sucks. It doesn't matter, but let's go get on SportsCenter. And the fact that he busted out the crazy eyes is hilarious to me, because when that happens, it means Bobby Portis is back.
And they love him in Milwaukee. It's just going to be a storyline they can sell to the fans. I think they're going to get behind it. There's all sorts of reason to pump those 2 guys' numbers out. Now, I don't think Kuzma can be better than late round value. Like, we've seen full Kuzma many times. He just can't do it because of the stat set. But he's late round lately over the last 7 games. He's been up and down the entire time. So it's hard to kind of predict, but I think they'll slowly keep, at least until February, pushing the Kyle Kuzma agenda there in Milwaukee. Let's get to my B150 players of the night. Hey, guess what? They're in Milwaukee. Kevin Porter Jr., 18, 10, and 13 with a steal and a 3. And he's been a top 5 or 6 fantasy guy all 7 games. He just hasn't moved. He hasn't changed. Like, he's just that guy. And I guess what I'll say is I don't think he's going to be this good all season long. He's shooting, I want to say, like 56% on the year, but and 90% from the foul line. So he can't keep doing that. I think when that all settles in and normalizes, he might go down to something like top 20. So we've kind of gone from Kevin Porter's more of a mid-round top 60 guy immediately upon coming back in and getting news that Giannis would probably never play in Milwaukee. That's my read on it. Ever again. I think I slid him to top 40, and now I'm kind of wondering if he can be a top 20 guy. And that's just great news if you stash Kevin Porter Jr., if you drafted him, whatever. And then Ryan Rollins is dipping into the top 70 to 100 range over the last 7 games. I think it's a combination of the efficiency starting to go down and not getting the full run. And I don't know that it's great news that this team is balanced out a bit. You know, the more Bobby Portis and the more Kyle Kuzma you get, I think that does come from Ryan Rollins a little bit. And those guys were super quiet before. I don't think there was really an opportunity for them to get going. So maybe reading into it a little bit too much there. But Ryan Rollins, I think, might be a top, say, 50 to 75 guy the rest of the way, which is pretty much what I've been saying the entire time. My other B150 player of the night is Jordan Walsh. So Walsh is super interesting. We've been picking up the Jordan Walsh discussion, I'd say, for about 2+ weeks right now. Once it became clear that he took over the starting role and that they really liked him in Boston, and once you started hearing, I think it was Derek White chirp up, once you started hearing the broadcast starting to chirp up and really step into the Jordan Walsh as our starter. Jordan Walsh needs to be taking more shots. Jordan Walsh needs to be taking on more opportunities. One of the best defenders in the league. Once that talk started about 3 weeks ago, advising to add, and now it's really hit overdrive. He had 20 points, 8 boards, 3 steals, 2 threes. He hit 80% of his shots, but that's kind of normal for him. On the season, he's a top 100, 159 or 150 guy. Okay, cool. Those numbers aren't jumping off the page, but it's top 55 to 75 over the last 13 games. You get into the last 10 games, top 45 to 65. So we're talking about a top 50 guy right now. The last 10 games, he's averaged 3.4 cash counters, 70% from the field. The last 7 games, he's hit 75% of his shots, top 25 to 35 over the last 7 games. So I don't really care if he drops with the field goal shooting because he doesn't take a lot of shots per game. The fact is that he's playing, and that when he's out there, he's getting you steals and blocks, and he's hitting threes. He looks like he's capable of making plays. He's turned the proverbial corner, and I don't think he's ever going to stop being the starter for this team this season. And I don't think he's going to have a shooting dip that really knocks him out of the top 150. So he's a must roster player the rest of the way. If he's not rostered in your league, you should pause or stop what you're doing right now.
Fraudulent.
Yeah. And go get it.
Jordan Walsh was my number one streaming recommendation for last night. I was like, it's Jordan Walsh, hands down. I just looked at Yahoo. He's only 20% rostered at Yahoo. And yes, I get that he's probably rostered in almost all competitive leagues, but just like Brew just told you, like, this is a run, don't walk situation at this point. Like, last call for Jordan Walsh, because if you can't pick him up right now, or if he's on the waiver wire right now, he will not be there after this.
Yeah, I think it's just going to keep happening. So great stuff there. Some clarity. It wasn't Josh Minot, but hey, you know what? We got the early jump on Jordan Walsh, so we feel pretty good
Are you worried about Tatum coming back at some point?
Tatum, all the talk about Tatum coming back, you would hear somebody on the inside say, it's probably not going to happen. And that's, it seems like each time that person says that, there's another development where Jason Tatum is getting back on the basketball floor. So I'm not ruling him out. And I think in a lot of competitive leagues that I'm in, where stashing a player actually hurts, like there's teams stashing him, and normally we don't see that. And so I'll kind of take the wisdom of the high stakes the ringer crowd and say, like, I think we all believe that he's going to return, and whether or not he's valuable enough to stash depends on your league settings. I think if you could stash him into the playoffs, and if I have a playoff league, yeah, absolutely, I stashed Jason Tatum. And then in terms of impacting other players, I just don't think we could do that yet. I think we can just assume that he won't play in terms of evaluating these other players like Jordan Walsh. Doc, let's get to your ads from last night. Who do you like?
I've just got to keep your eye on alert on Chris Murray, plays for Portland Trailblazers. Had a whopping 7 points last night, right? Nobody probably noticed or cared. But the key is he started for Portland. He played 29 minutes. He had 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And I looked at his game log. He hasn't done much. Like, this is really the first time he's peaked out of his hole in the ground this season. Like, he's like the groundhog. He saw his own shadow last night. Maybe this means 6 more weeks of Chris Murray. I don't know. Ooh. But I'm very intrigued by that. If he plays 29 minutes and starts going forward, he could be a great waiver wire pickup. So I don't know what his status is. I don't know if this was just a one-time thing or not, but I'm going to be watching the Portland box score pretty carefully the next couple games to see what he does.
I've always in like these 300 player leagues, like taken Chris Murray, like in the back end, the 270 to 300 range. And I, watch his twin brother all the time, Keegan. And I've always thought, well, why not Chris? Like, why is Chris so different? And it's the shooting to some degree, it's the offense and all the things. But like, as far as a value proposition for an NBA player goes, Chris Murray is tall, lengthy. He's a little quick on his feet. He's got some good size, and he just kind of feels like a player that every NBA team should have somebody like him on their bench, and then he always gets pretty good minutes. The stat production, like the points, are really, really the biggest issue with him. And we probably need to see an overall offensive game there. But like his last 5 games, for example, he's averaged, we got like 1.2 steals and 0.4 blocks in 27 minutes per game. So 1.6 combined defensive stats, 0.63. So he's at the 2.0 cash counting mark. He needs to get that up to 3. If he can get that up to 3, he can be a standard league fantasy player in that amount of minutes, or, if he needs more minutes, great. But I like the defensive equation, and the fact that he's stealing and blocking isn't surprising, because his twin brother is stealing and blocking for Sacramento. And oh, wait, by the way, let's talk about Sacramento. I've got a trio of ads to talk about in Sacramento. Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, and Maxime Reynaud. We got Malik Monk. This is the Malik Monk show, basically. He's going to show up, and he's going to disappear. He's going to show up. He's going to disappear. 18 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 threes last night.
How many minutes?
Yep.
Do you know how many minutes he played?
Oh, how many? I think it was like 25.
That's the thing, dude. He's either like 18 minutes or 25, and his stats vary wildly.
I would quickly get this, but yet another provider changed their their box scores. Yahoo changed their box scores.
It's like, I'll look at that while you're talking about Malik Monk.
Yeah, you're gonna look at the Yahoo box scores. I'm just, what are we doing what are we doing? 30 minutes from Malik Monk. 30 minutes.
30.
Yeah. There's some sort of a pivot going on in Sacramento right now. Scott Perry's doing a media tour. What that usually means is that they want to accomplish something with the media. Shocker. And he went in and he talked up Keon Ellis, for example, with the local Rise guys here in Sacramento. And the quote was like, "We love Keon Ellis," kind of like we've always loved Keon Ellis. And I think that one of the local PR media people was like, "Oh, this closes the book on the Keon Ellis situation." Like, okay, Keon Ellis plays 5 minutes a night and yada, yada, yada. Well, Keon Ellis got 31 minutes last night. He had 8 points, 2 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. So we got classic Keon Ellis. And I don't know if this is turning the page. It was against the Denver Nuggets, who were walloping him. And maybe they just wanted to get everybody off their back for one game regarding Keon Ellis. Also, every team in the league has reportedly called on Keon Ellis, even though they don't like to play Keon Ellis, which was noted by the great Sam Amick in his athletic column regarding the trade deadline. So anyway, bottom line, DeMar DeRozan is probably going to be traded, and that's going to open up the guard slot, and a lot of shots and a lot of good juju will come to this team as a result of that. And Malik Monk will be consistent, has top 50 upside, could be a top 100 floor guy. And then Keon Ellis, top 50 upside. If they just play him 30 minutes a game, which they have in the past, which they should do, he has that top 50 upside. So now is a good time to get in on Keon Ellis is the bottom line. And you got to keep your expectations in check here. It's going to eventually tip over and be consistent for these two players. It's just a question of how long it takes between now and the trade deadline for that to happen. But I think you could get some good value between now and the trade deadline, as evidenced by that box score. Raynaud, 15-9 with 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 3. And they're putting him out there up front.
37, Brew. 37 minutes.
37. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, they love him. And you had Drew Eubanks go down with an injury in this game. They might play Precious Achiuwa more, at some level, some point. He had 10 minutes in the last game. I could see them maybe spelling Raynaud with Precious Achiuwa, but I'm not worried about that. I think, unfortunately for Raynaud, he's not going to get a lot of steals and blocks and threes. Can shoot the threes, just not shooting them in volume right now. Maybe getting like Domantas Sabonis back could create more 3-point shots for him. But at any rate, he's going to be a points and rebounds guy with a little bit here and a little bit there, but he's going to be available. He's going to play. He's going to probably play 30 minutes a game the rest of the season. And that's going to be an easy late round value for folks. So if he's not added, you can get a late round value in Maxime Raynaud right now. Doc, who's your next player to add?
Just to put a bow on what you just talked about, Raynaud got 37 minutes. DeMar DeRozan played 21 minutes in that game. Westbrook played 27. Neat Clifford played 28 and was terrible. Monk played 30 and Keon Ellis played 31. So the three guys you talked about all played 30 minutes for that team. And I think it really depends on what we see in the next game. If those three guys are getting big minutes again, dude, you're totally onto this thing. And I think DeMar DeRozan is getting traded. And
oh yeah, he's definitely getting traded. And then but be clear, guys, like this is a lot of value for Malik Monk, especially. He is, if not, if there's some weird thing that goes on in the background that nobody can predict, that's, all bets are off. But in terms of like what he can do and what he will do, the minute DeMar DeRozan goes off, it's top 50 to at worst top 100. And that's just going to happen. So if you want to get ahead of it, feel free. With Keon, it's a little bit more risky, but obviously the value is there if he gets cut loose. Doc, who's your next one?
My next guy is, I don't know how to say his name, Sisi Sissoko.
That is not correct, sir.
Sissy?
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk with Musa Sissy. We're talk with him about your enunciation shortly, but CD, I believe it's CD, but I might be wrong. CD Sissoko.
CD Sissoko. Oh, good. Siri thinks I'm talking to her. That's great. Stop, Siri. 32 minutes. 20 points. I can't see, bro. Looks like three steals.
24 and 2, a block, a 3, and like I said, if I could navigate Yahoo's box scores, that would be a wonderful thing.
If I could read my own handwriting, that would be wonderful. But he played 32 minutes. He scored 20 points. And he had a block shot and some other stuff. So Sissoko's been playing good minutes for a while now. I haven't noticed the box scores really popping. Last night's kind of did. And he's one of those guys, unlike a lot of these players we talk about, that's actually available in a lot of leagues and especially some competitive leagues as well. So 0% Brew rostered in Yahoo leagues. So I'm keeping it in Portland, and I'm keeping it weird, and I'm going CD Sissoko.
I would say about a week ago, or maybe even 10 days ago, I saw him in 30 deep, and I was like, okay, I got to go at him. And then I had some injury issues that I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with the injury issues, IR slots, things like that. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait a day. And then I believe the great Daniel Dobish snagged him from me. Snagged him, he did. But it was, just to be clear, 20 points, 3 triples, 8 of 12 from the field, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 block. He's been getting a ton of minutes lately. And that's been just great because he's actually a pretty physical player. When he first came into the league, I thought this guy's got a shot. Kind of bounced around a whole lot of different places and now has a home in Portland. But getting minutes, if this thing kind of goes to crap in Portland and a lot of the players who are currently injured stay injured, or maybe they fall out of the playoff race at some point in time, don't be surprised if CD Sissoko is good enough to be on rosters. And then a shout out to Ryan Rupert as well.
He had been coming off. He had been starting, but they started Shaden Sharp last night. Sissoko came off the bench, had his best game of the season. So it's only one game. Like, don't run out there and pick up Sissoko. But just like Chris Murray, both of those Blazers, I think you want to have keep a close eye on. If they do this again in the next one, I'm probably jumping on them.
I got another correction on a name, Ryan Rupert, which is that makes sense. I'm not even looking at his name. I didn't see the Frenchness.
And I love the shout out to the great Daniel Dobish.
Indeed.
He is a great
Indeed. Man. All right. I'm going to add Jordan Poole to this list just as like in case you saw Jordan Poole on your waiver wire, just go add him, please. 23, 7, and 4 with a steal. A good return game for Jordan Poole. I think what we got with Jordan Poole is something similar to what we got with Herbert Jones, we'll talk about here in a second, is coming back spry off of that injury absence. So perhaps the slow start for him was due to the injury itself. So guys, if you're checking out if these players are available on your waiver wire, take a moment to hit the thumbs up on this video. And Doc, let's get into the drop zone here. Who's your first drop zone discussion person? Are you actually going to do it? I know the name. Are you going to actually do this?
What, tell people to drop Miles Turner?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell people to drop Miles Turner, but we're going to have a Miles Turner discussion in the drop zone.
Can we make it an intervention?
I have a feeling that Miles Turner owners probably have to be talked off the ledge.
We all cram in the living room and surprise them.
Horrible. We need to have an intervention with Miles Turner himself and be like, smack him. Yeah, look what Bobby and Kyle did last night, bro. Wake up. 1 of 6, 0 of 4 from downtown. You draft this guy to get block shots and 3-pointers. 3 rebounds. Thank you for that, sir. 4 points. Like, just awful stuff, man. He did have 2 blocks. Well done. In December, this month, Miles Turner has played 5 games. He's averaging 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1.4 blocks on 37% shooting. And he's a center. Oh, he's also 71% from the free throw line. Like, this is a disaster. And it's not like he was balling out before then either. His last 2 games in November, 10 points in each of them. He had a 24.8 rebound performance on November 26th. Before that, it was 13 points, 11 points, 14, 15, 3. Like, it's just garbage. And, you know, he left Indiana to go to Portland because he wants to win now. How's that working out for you, Chief? He's playing horribly, and you can't just drop Miles Turner, but man, like, he's literally playing bad enough right now that you could consider it. But I'm not going to recommend anyone drop him.
One of the concerns that I have is I don't know that Kevin Porter or Ryan Rollins or Kyle Kuzma or Bobby Portis has it in their docket to be like, okay, Miles Turner, let's get you back going. And like the pick and pop requirement to make that happen. Like he was a classic pick and pop guy for Indiana. They ran so much action for him to get basically the offense started. He didn't always take the shot, but like
Tyrese Halliburton loved him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they did the whole like pass the ball and then follow the ball screen action for him. And it's just not a thing that Milwaukee does. They're not even close to doing that. And maybe they should look into doing that. But we're also talking about Doc Rivers here. Doc Rivers is basically like padding his win total. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like George Karl's name circled on the board so he could pass him in the win total. And there's nothing innovative coming from Doc Rivers at this point, involving Miles Turner. And I would like to see the 30 for 30 on the whole Indiana, Milwaukee, Miles Turner negotiation this summer, because something happened there. He either got offered money or he didn't, depending on who you talk with. And then the result is that Miles Turner steps into what was obviously a toxic situation in Milwaukee. Like if you did not know this was toxic, if you did, there's so much, I guess, belief in Giannis out there, which I think is misplaced at this point, that I think all of these people are kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe it's going wrong. And Miles Turner is one of them. He sounds very confident about his choice, but it was not a good one unless the idea is that everybody's going to leave and I'll be the last guy standing and I can actually produce at a much higher level. But even that's not true. I would try to sell Miles Turner based on his name. And if he blows up, he blows up. But right now it just doesn't look good for him. I'll take Herbert Jones for my drop zone guy. And this is almost more of a public service announcement than anything. He had 4 and 5 at the block. Yeah, it's annoying that in his second game back, he just decides he wants to get ejected. So 2 quick texts and bye-bye for Herbert Jones. But in terms of like his overall profile, he has had everybody pretty much happy with him in New Orleans. They say that he's quick, he's spry, he's ready to go. Decent-ish numbers in his small amount of time. I believe it was 12 minutes last night. So don't drop Herbert Jones right now. And I would even say if Herbert Jones is available, because he's probably available in like 97% of Yahoo leagues or something. If he's available in your league, I think he's an ad if you're in a 9-cat roto league, no matter what. If you're in a head-to-head league, make sure that the steals profile well for you. And then if you're in a 8-cat roto league, I think he's got enough upside to be added in, say, 12 to 14 team leagues. Doc, anybody else from New Orleans that you like to talk about in the drop zone?
Jose Alvarado salvaged a decent line last night. He only had 4 points, but he did have 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and a block. But his previous 2 games, he played 30 and 31 minutes. Last night, he played 23 minutes. That's with the Herbert Jones ejection, and that is with the return of Poole. And, Poole returns, plays well. New Orleans actually wins a game. They snapped a 7-game losing streak. They're now 4 and 22 or something ridiculous. They have 4 wins on the season, and they got one against Portland last night. But the whole return of Jordan Poole is going to squeeze minutes out of some of his teammates. And I think one of them that is going to get squeezed is Jose Alvarado. We already saw that last night. Maybe if you got him, maybe ride him for another game or 2, but just be ready to part ways with Alvarado here. I think the run is probably ending.
Interesting thing for Jose Alvarado, and I believe that's all good advice right there, is that maybe he gets some more life in New York. The New York writers are chirping up about possibly acquiring Jose Alvarado via trade. They know they need a 6th, a 7th, and an 8th man in New York, and so Jose Alvarado would be a great pickup for that basketball team. Oh, New York would love that guy. I will shout out Reed Shepherd. Very low, very quiet box score. In fact, he's had about 5 games right now where he's either been in the 150 range or even a little bit lower. And I bet some of the folks that were down on Reed Shepherd are getting a little close to that drop button. But don't do that, because in the last 9 games, he's been inside the top 75, and he's been inside the top 75 this season. So Reed Shepherd doing just fine. Doc, if you have anybody else you would like to mention, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, yeah.
Johnny Collins.
Just gotta
9.0 boards to assists.
I just got to give it to him one more time. Johnny Collins.
Come on,
still
Collins.
getting yelled at on this show. And that's going to do it for us. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to keep this content coming is super simple. If you're listening on the podcast feed, take 60 seconds and drop us a 5-star review, which helps us a ton. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you never miss a new episode. Thank you, Andre, for producing a great show as usual. Doc, great job. To our content team, thank you. And our tech team, thank you as well. For Steve and Andre and all of us here at Sports Ethos, we will be right back with a preview of tonight's slate. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.